See, most people spend their entire lives chasing money as if it's some distant prize waiting at the end of a long, winding road. But here's a secret that's rarely spoken. Wealth isn't just a number in your bank account. It's a mindset, a discipline, and above all, a philosophy about life itself. While 97% of people are trapped in a cycle of scarcity and struggle, the 3% have unlocked a profound truth that financial freedom is not about how much you make, but how you think, act, and grow every single day. The difference is not luck. It's not education or connections. It's a way of seeing the world, a way of understanding your own worth, your own power, and the invisible forces that shape your financial destiny. Today, I want to take you beyond the surface. Not just to learn how to make money, but to learn how to think like the wealthy, so that your actions follow and your results change forever. Because here's the thing, poverty begins in the mind long before it shows up in your wallet. And wealth? Wealth begins the moment you decide to step off the beaten path and rewrite the story you've been telling yourself about money. Are you ready to discover why the masses stay broke and how you can join the few who break free? Then listen closely, because this might just be the most important conversation you'll ever have. Let me tell you something simple but powerful. If you ever want to build wealth, real wealth, not just bigger bills and a fancier lifestyle, you've got to pay yourself first. That's the first law. That means before you pay the landlord, the grocer, the tax man, or even the light bill, you must honor your future self. Now, I know what some folks say, but I don't make enough. Well, let me tell you, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And more importantly, what you do with what you keep. You see, wealth doesn't respond to income, it responds to discipline. Let's take an example. You get a check. It's not $1 million, maybe it's just $500 for the week. Most people look at that and immediately start subtracting. Rent, groceries, gas, weekend plans. By the time they're done, they might think, well, maybe next month I'll save. But the wealthy flip that equation. They subtract their future first. They take 10%, sometimes 15%, and tuck it away. Savings, investments, a little gold perhaps, and only then do they let the rest go to work, paying for life. I learned this lesson when I was broke, sitting at a little table with just a few dollars and too many bills. My mentor said to me, don't wait to have more to start. Start with what you have and you'll have more. So I began with just $1 out of $10. Seems small, seems silly. But that little habit taught me ownership. I stopped being a servant to my money and started becoming its master. You've got to tell your money where to go instead of asking where it went. And let me say, this paying yourself first isn't selfish. It's responsible. It's not about hoarding money. It's about planting it. Every dollar you save or invest is a worker on your team. And the question is, are you sending those workers out into the world to bring you back a return, or are you spending them all on temporary pleasures and wondering why nothing changes? So here's what I tell anyone ready to leave that 97% behind. The day you decide that your future is worth more than that extra coffee or a new gadget, you step into the world of the 3%. Not because you earn more, but because you think better. There's a truth many don't want to face. Most people spend money emotionally. They buy what feels good in the moment. A fancy coffee, the latest gadget, a night out with friends. These purchases provide relief, a quick fix for stress or boredom. But that relief is fleeting, and when the money is gone, so is the comfort. Perpetually chasing their next temporary high with dollars that could have built something lasting. The 97% often live paycheck to paycheck because their spending is guided by feelings, not foresight. Contrast that with the mindset of the 3%. These folks don't just spend, they invest, and investing isn't always about the stock market or complicated financial jargon. It's about intention. It's about seeing every dollar as a soldier marching toward a goal, whether that's retirement, education, or financial freedom. It's about buying freedom, not just relief. This difference in thinking separates the broke from the wealthy. When a 3%er orders a coffee, it's not because they don't want one, but because they've already asked, will this purchase bring me closer to or farther from my goals? That's a powerful question. I remember early in my career when money was tight, I was tempted to spend on things that made me feel good in the moment. But I saw men and women around me who didn't necessarily make more, but who had a different habit. They paused before every purchase. They asked themselves if what they were about to buy would serve their future or just satisfy an emotional urge. And you know what? That habit paid off. They had money saved, investments growing, and options I didn't have. Spending intentionally means you know your priorities, and you don't let fleeting feelings dictate your financial decisions. It's about control, discipline, and vision. The 3% understand that wealth is built not just on income, but on what you do with it. Every dollar either builds your freedom or someone else's. It's as simple and as profound as that. If you want to be in the 3%, begin today by shifting how you think about your money. Don't spend just because you feel like it. Spend because you've decided where your money's loyalty lies. The moment you do that, you start building a legacy, not just a lifestyle. And that's the difference between the broke and the free. You see, one of the biggest reasons people stay broke isn't because they don't earn enough, but because they don't know where their money goes. It slips through their fingers like water, unnoticed and unchecked. The 97% often live in the dark about their finances. They guess, hope, and hope some more. But wealth isn't built on guesswork. It's built on relentless clarity. I've met countless folks who were frustrated with their financial situation, but refused to track a single cent. They'd say things like, "I don't want to obsess over money," or "I'll just figure it out." The truth is, you can't manage what you don't measure. It's like trying to steer a ship without a compass. You might think you're heading in the right direction, but without clear data, you're just drifting. The 3% know exactly where every dollar is going, not because they want to micromanage, but because clarity gives power. It allows them to see where they're bleeding money and where they can save or invest more. Tracking isn't about fear or deprivation, it's about empowerment. It's about creating a habit of awareness. When I first began managing my money, I started a simple practice, a financial journal. Every week I wrote down what I earned, what I spent, what I saved, and what I invested. Sometimes it was uncomfortable. I saw habits that weren't serving me, money going to things I didn't even remember buying, but this clear picture helped me course correct. And here's the thing, what gets tracked gets transformed. Once you start logging your financial flow, you naturally begin to make better decisions. You notice patterns like eating out too much or impulsive online shopping. Awareness alone creates the desire to improve. Then, with clear numbers in front of you, you can set realistic goals and hold yourself accountable. Don't wait to feel ready or to have a big income. Start today with whatever you have. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or an app, whatever works for you. The key is consistency. Track your money weekly, review it honestly, and adjust. Over time, this habit becomes your financial foundation. If you want to move from being part of the 97% to the 3%, get ruthless with clarity. Know where every dollar goes, and you'll know where your future lies. This is the starting point of real financial freedom. There's a common misconception that working harder and longer hours will automatically lead to greater wealth. Many in the 97% fall into this trap, thinking that sheer effort is the key to financial freedom. But the truth is, effort alone is often the slowest path to success. What really moves the needle is increasing your value, not just your effort. I remember early in my career, I worked long hours, punching the clock, thinking that if I just put in more time, the money would come. But then I realized something important. People don't pay for hours, they pay for value. If you spend 10 hours doing something anyone can do, that's different than spending 10 hours delivering something unique, something people want, something they can't get anywhere else. The wealthy understand this principle deeply. They invest in themselves by developing skills that command higher returns. It's about sharpening your communication so you can persuade and inspire. It's about learning leadership so you can guide others toward shared goals. It's about mastering sales so you can create opportunity. It's about gaining financial literacy so your money works for you. These are skills that compound over time, much like money in a good investment. Instead of chasing more hours, focus on becoming more valuable. That means continuous learning, stepping outside your comfort zone, and embracing challenges that stretch your abilities. When you develop these skills, you don't just earn more money, you open doors to opportunities that wouldn't have been available otherwise. Remember, money follows value. If you can solve a bigger problem or create more impact, the rewards will follow naturally. So, stop counting hours.